Good evening, everyone. So as was mentioned, we are located in Columbus, Ohio, and we call ourselves the Osu Aphasia Initiative at The Ohio State University. We are a university-based program, which means that we are housed in the Department of Speech and Hearing Sciences at the university. And we do run on an LPAA group therapy format where members can elect to participate in 6 hours of group speech therapy per week across 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Our sessions are predominantly facilitated by our graduate student clinicians and supervised by Jen and myself. It's just the two of us. And also we do provide opportunities for undergraduate students who are enrolled in a service learning course where they are learning about adult neurogenics as it relates to speech language pathology. So they are excellent volunteers for us as well. So our mission is threefold. We work to, of course, educate our graduate students and undergraduate students. And we also want to, of course, provide programs and services for the adults with cognitive communication disabilities in our community through these communication groups. And lastly, we aim to provide research opportunities for master's students, PhD students who are looking to participate in the field of research. So keeping in mind our mission, those threefold statements I just made, we are always kind of brainstorming what it looks like to improve the quality of our programs and services for people with aphasia and our students. And so often we find ourselves returning to the evolving and really ever-present needs of our members. So as I'm sure a lot of you also experience, we have members in our participation who have needs such as work training, as well as referrals for housing and transportation, psychosocial support, exercise programs, and needs related to aging. These are just a few that we come across. And with that being said, we really want to kind of keep in mind, knowing these are their very practical and holistic needs, what can we do to help sort of serve them in these capacities? Also, like I'm sure many of you experience, though, we unfortunately are limited by our student availability, our personnel. Like I said, it's just Jen and I, so we can only do so much. There's not enough funding, which again, I'm sure all of you know what that's like. And we have a very small space. Our building space is very limited. So because of these realities, we often feel as though we're having to wear many hats all at once, which can feel very overwhelming, to say the least. The good news, though, is that we are very fortunate to be at The Ohio State University in a setting where collaborating with other allied health professions is right at our fingertips. And so this is where we have found ourselves most recently, where we're attempting to forge new and improved partnerships for learning and programming with a variety of other departments at OSU in an interdisciplinary context. And so I'm actually going to pass it off to Jen, who's going to share a little more in detail about what some of these partnerships have looked like and what some of the behind the scenes work has been like.
So our initiative began by reaching out to the College of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences. And fun fact for you academics out there, we are not in Health and Rehabilitation Sciences. We are in the College of Arts and Sciences. But of course, we know some people over there, and with a little networking and some coffee dates, we were able to talk about our little aphasia group that's across the river on West Campus, and express our interest in growing through establishing these collaborations. So 3 programs bit. occupational therapy, social work, and medical dietetics. And we've been cultivating our relationship with those programs for the past couple years now. The core components of our interprofessional programming include didactic training in communication disabilities, supported communication strategies, and LPA principles for students in OT, social work, and medical dietetics at OSU. Those students have then the opportunity to practice their discipline in a highly supportive, low stakes environment. And often their work in the Aphasia Initiative is their first experience with an adult that has a disability. You know, and then of course, our members are receiving support and benefit from the intervention that those students are providing, as well as they are true partners in the educational process. And we can't emphasize enough the importance of that role, as they are the true experts in communication. So what does our program look like more specifically? So for occupational therapy, we are a site for OT students who are enrolled in a service learning course. And so it's a 5-week clinical experience with the Aphasia Initiative. So in addition to learning about communication disabilities, the OT students will complete an aphasia-friendly evaluation with a PWA, and then also design a home program. We also pair MASLP students with the OT students, and they are involved in the treatment session, and they're kind of the communication support partner. They are helping, they give feedback on the session, they help prepare aphasia-friendly materials, and it's just further, you know, cultivating those interprofessional, you know, connections. Actually, just today, I had a phone call with someone else from the OT program, and we are going to be a level 1 field placement in the fall. So that means we're going to have 11 graduate students for the entire semester. So we're really excited to add that. So for social work, we are a field placement for 1 Master's of Social Work student, which is a 2-semester placement. And so the fall is primarily onboarding, a lot of education, involvement in our communication treatment groups. And then the spring is really focused on care partner support, making referrals as needed. You know, there's always transportation, housing, medical needs. You know, as Erin said, a lot of us, we're wearing so many hats, and often someone is bringing a letter in that they received, or they have some forms that need completed for, you know, maybe a doctor's appointment. And it's been just invaluable to have someone that's dedicated and that is there for them, you know, for all of those kind of little task type things. So that's been fantastic. Medical dietetics, it's a more abbreviated experience. So after the education, there's the education session and the training sessions. There's 2 experiences that they will have with our members. They will complete an aphasia-friendly nutritional screen and then plan an intervention based on that screen. So it's a very personalized, individualized plan. And so the members can identify what they want to learn about, what they want to get out of that experience. And, you know, for example, we had one member who wanted to learn more about healthy food options at fast food restaurants. And so he was able to identify the restaurants in which he frequents. And the student then developed kind of like a quick, you know, access resource guide that had, you know, of the 6 places he goes to, this is what he might choose. Someone else wanted to explore a vegan diet. And so she prepared materials on what that looks like, the pros and cons of that, you know, adopting a diet like that, and where to get more resources. And so also, you know, afterwards, the members kind of share, you know, what everyone learned about, and that's been a really exciting addition. And also, you know, focusing on changes that happen with age, and that we need to be thinking about not only communication, but our nutritional needs and our exercise needs, you know, et cetera. So when we step back and really look at the impact of these programs on our mission, you can see that not only are we providing the communication intervention, we are providing case management, exercise groups, nutritional consultation. And so we're really providing a more robust, holistic experience for our members. And then when I look at the education that we're doing now, we're armoring these other student groups with tools that they can take with them as they move on to other clinical experiences. You know, as we all know, right, supporting communication strategies are universal. And I feel so proud that the Aphasia Initiative is able to reach out to so many different groups of future healthcare providers. So we have no plan to stop. We're going to keep adding to the list, but let our program diversify and grow organically. And so who knows what we'll look like next year. So I think we might have a couple minutes for questions if anyone has them, but I also want to thank everyone for staying up late, and thank you to Aphasia Access, because we couldn't do what we do without you. And oh, here's our emails. If you'd like any info that we have, any of our documents, reach out.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jen, and thank you, Erin.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So
Yep.
let's get to that core question that I've been asking everybody, because I think in all of this with 58 presentations, and that's what we actually have over here, there's the, we can get lost in a sea of information, a sea of knowledge, which is beautiful. There's so much. If we whittle it down to one nugget, one thing you want to make sure that tomorrow when Liz and Tom Sather and Barb Shadden are attempting to say, what did we learn over 24 hours? What will you hope they say about this talk?
Wow. Well, I think it's, you know, being creative about how to access resources, how to grow. You know, we're doing what we're doing without adding personnel. We're without adding, you know, fees for our members. So I think sometimes looking in your group, right? Looking who's around you, and there's opportunities around every corner. Erin, would you have anything?
Yeah, I would also just consider the value of interdisciplinary learning among students. I think thankfully we're headed that direction, and more people are jumping on the importance of that, and how necessary it is to work together as a team in order to serve an individual in a holistic way. And so I think the other side of the coin, besides being able to provide really necessary services for our members, beyond what our capacity is as just Jen and I as speech therapists, we really have seen a great value in, and a lot of excellent feedback from the students who are, you know, saying just what an incredible and really kind of practical experience that they've received from working alongside of us.